Kevin Holland took a highly prized neck home in Michael Chiesa, first round submission victory. And this was all about youth versus the OG, right? This was about length, power, size versus technique and skill. Now, AJ, what's one of the, I would say, themes that we had coming into this matchup? Not this matchup, but this card. Youth versus the older fighters, right? We got robbed of one of them, the Paeta versus Wonderboy Thompson. But we kind of said all of these older guys, you can't keep betting on them forever. Kevin Holland, I think he showed us and he proved to us that at the end of the day, doesn't matter what kind of specialist you are, doesn't matter that you won the Ultimate Fighter. Kevin Holland's really, really good. And what it comes down to is his length and his size and his power just being too much. What did Michael Chiesa display to you in this fight?
Man, to be honest, Derek, what Michael Chiesa displayed to me on this fight was he is just a half step. He's not really fully invested in it anymore. It seems like he's a half step back to where he is, and it seems like his fighting style and strengths are regressing a little bit. Like normally, give this fight 2 years ago, Michael Chiesa just absolutely runs through. Remember, he was ragdolling people left and right on the ground, just an absolute menace. And then for some reason, he's just lost that half step. So I don't know if necessarily he's lost it, but he just hasn't been developing his tools in the necessary form to grow. Whereas we have Kevin Holland. We've seen the growth pattern of Kevin Holland. It's unmatched, and that was on full display for me personally. Not necessarily, I don't want to call it work ethic, Derek. I don't want to call it technique or anything, but I do think that growth pattern that Kevin Holland has showed is far levels above, obviously, where Michael Chiesa now is. But it seems like Michael Chiesa just hasn't really gone to that stage. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of it, Derek, when the bus incident happened with with Conor McGregor and Michael Chiesa caught some glass to the eye, he started catching a lot of flack. And then I feel like after that, he's never recovered. We haven't seen that same killer performance since before like that era really started to take place. It seems like Michael Chiesa has been kind of lost in the dust. Would you agree, or where do you think the falter has been, if at all any?
Well, I'm not sure if that was Michael Chiesa that you're talking about. I think you might be talking about Ray Borg.
No, Ray Borg, Michael Chiesa, and it was a female fighter too. Was it Rose? I forget.
Yeah, they were all on it. I know Ray Borg was the one who got glass in his eye, and he couldn't compete, and he had to get taken off the card. I don't think Michael Chiesa was as big of an issue. Even if that's true, I don't really think that was the catalyst. He's been dealing with back problems. I think that's like the real issue. So he's been taking epidurals. That's why he's been out, back injuries. So Kevin Holland, he made note of that. He was like, let's see if this dude could even make the cut. Like, this is an old man, right? This is what it comes down to. I just think that you have an older class of fighters, right? And then you have the new hybrid fighters that we talk about all the time. And sometimes the older class doesn't really catch up to what the newer class is doing. Think about it. Kevin Holland's a black belt. This dude's a fantastic striker, fought up a weight class. And his biggest problem has been when the big, huge elite wrestlers grab hold of him like Marvin Vettori and just dump him on his butt. He doesn't really have a problem against anybody else. So another one of the Tony Ferguson era guys, kind of, not really, right? This dude's not as OG as Tony Ferguson, but like that older era, you kind of get put to pasture in this sense. I do think that Michael Chiesa still has something left in the tank, but not against these top guys. Because Kevin Holland is this perfect trap game opponent. Doesn't have the number next to his name. He's kind of a big name, but he's not a big enough name for you to want to take as serious as someone who's like number 5, number 7 in their division, which Kevin Holland should probably be in that range, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. And especially if you looked at the way Kevin Holland's losses have happened, you think Michael Chiesa, you're like, oh, I'm going to run through this dude. I'm going to control this guy, grapple him up. It's going to be no problem. Mm-hmm. It turned out to be the opposite.
Yeah, big win for Kevin Holland. I mean, that's all we could say here. Plus 350 submission. He knew that the Darce opportunities were going to be there. And when you got somebody as long and lanky as Kevin Holland, you got to watch your neck, man. That's for sure.